Hello, this is Mr. Huff, and let's look at the work that needs to be done for those that are in catch-up mode. So each of you has a document like this that has a list of assignments that need to be completed to catch up with your class. And what I have done is we have put this into Canvas. So when you go to Canvas, you will see the home page, and if you go to the left, you will see modules. So click on modules, and you'll see a module called Catch-up. And this is a list of the items you need to do in order. If I recall, most of you are at this point. So Scamper is where you're brainstorming, and I expect you to use lots of different strategies to come up with solutions or potential solutions. Throw some crazy ones in there as well, but come up with some solutions to solve the problem. Once you have that, you have decision matrix 1 and 2. And what you're going to do with decision matrix 1 and 2 is you are going to come up with 8 different ways to solve the problem. And you're going to use different ways of scoring those. And you're going to do a decision matrix that guides you to the best possible solution. So once you do that on the first round, you will have analyzed 8 different ways of solving it. You will have one best way. After you have that one best way, you do it again. So you do 8 versions of that one best way to get to the absolute best solution. Once you have your solution defined, you need to think about parameters. These are going to be things that are important to the function and usefulness of your solution. If you look back, though, you have a lot of information already gathered for this. You have your brochure, the past and present solutions, Scamper, the decision matrix 1 and 2. All of these will lead to the different parameters you need to consider for your solution. And one of you is doing a software approach, adapt and modify. Tell me how you're changing that. So once you come up with your list of parameters, you're going to write a memo, and I have an outline for you to use. And again, you've already got most of this already put together. It just needs to be a one-page memo format and get that written and turned in. Then the next item is stem intersections. So you have a list of parameters here. You're going to take those parameters and identify the stem intersection. What that means is what physics principles, what engineering principles, what math principles apply to this parameter. For instance, if it's talking about volume, like how large the product has to be or solution has to be, you can talk about how to calculate the volume of like the inside of an object or the outside of an object, or like I'm thinking of one that's going to you need to know how much water it can hold or how much pressure that comes from that the water has to have. And so you can come up with the physics principles of pressure, fluid flow, viscosity, that sort of thing. And then you also include the formulas that apply to that physics principle. What this will eventually turn into are testing criteria. The next thing is getting expert input. So this is just for both of you. I think you have experts already. So you need to formalize the process of asking for their help and also reach out for some additional input. So you need to have 3 experts at a minimum in your corner so that you can share your solution design and that sort of thing with them. Or if you get stuck, you have people to talk to. After this is the final presentation part 2. It's just basically putting everything you've done up to this point in a presentation format, match the format of presentation part 1. Next is the napkin. This is where you get a napkin and you quickly sketch and label your proposed solution, how it would work. So what's it going to look like? What do you see in your head? Try to get that on paper very quickly. This is not intended to be a technical diagram, but it should help you think through the process of or the pieces that it's going to need. I have a reading assignment, this EDD Read to Learn. It's a PDF that you'll go through and capture some ideas from. Then you need to design a survey instrument. Think about your parameters and that sort of thing. The things you have said are important for your design. I need you to go through and design an instrument so that you can get feedback from stakeholders. When you design a survey instrument, it's important to use questions that are on a scale of 1 to 5, not yes or no. All right, let's go on and look at this. When it says the model, okay, for this one, what you're going to do is just grab some materials and make a real quick model of what you plan to build. It's like a small, just a small version of what you see in your mind to try to demonstrate how it's going to look and kind of a little bit about how it's going to function. I'm talking about things made out of like paper cups and cardboard and string and stuff like that. It's not going to be a functional prototype. It's just going to be a real quick model. So once you finish the model, you should learn some things as you do that, some things about what's going to be difficult to assemble, some things maybe you didn't think about so for use and that sort of thing. So when you have that three-dimensional model in your hands, it's a lot easier to kind of critically analyze how your prototype could work. So I need you to do this reflection activity for your model here, okay? Then we need to get into materials, cost, and vendor. What this is about is what kind of things do you need to build a prototype. So at this point, you should be thinking about if you were going to build a prototype you could test, what kind of stuff you need would you need to get to build that? How much would it cost? Why do you need that specific material? Who are you going to get it from? Keep in mind you have access to some budget, so let me know as you develop this. And then finally, the last one I'll put on this list before break is the solution survey results. So up here, you developed a survey, you should send it out. Social media is a great place. Think about getting dozens, if not hundreds, of points of feedback is what you're looking for. But if you use a Google form, it generates some charts for you. So I need you to go through there and talk about the feedback that you got and how that's changing the direction of your prototype design. All right, this is a very long list. And don't get overwhelmed. It's just one step at a time. So finish one thing and then go to the next thing, and then finish that and then go to the next thing. Don't try to do all of this at once, one thing at a time.